Thank you for joining us. We are talking about Sage Data and Analytics for Sage 100, which is, it's actually a white labeled product. The company behind it is called Zap. So it's powered by Zap. So as we're going through today, we're probably going to say Zap a lot. And you also see Zap in the corner of the screen, right there with the micro accounting logo and the Zap logo. So Zap and Sage Data Analytics is the same solution. So microaccounting and Zap started a partnership a few years ago, and pretty exciting product that the Sage Data Analytics or the Zap, pretty exciting solution that it is. I mean, it brings a lot to the Sage 100. It gives us a lot of power of things that are not native in the system. It's a cloud-enabled product, so it really, can take us to that next level. And in addition to integrating with Sage 100, it does integrate with several other ERPs, Sage Intacct being one of those, but also you can tie it into other data sources. So if you have, Excel or, really anything, it's possible to tie that in and pull all your data together. So pretty exciting product. I'm not going to talk too much about it because we have someone way smarter than me on the line that's going to do that. So today we have Rohit and David with Zap that are on the line. David's actually going to be doing the presentation today. We're going to go through a bit of a PowerPoint, and then he's actually going to get into a live demo. So David and Rohit are based in the UK. So they're wrapping up their day, where some of us are just starting it, but that's okay. That just means they've had more coffee than the rest of us. Before we kick off the presentation, we do have the lines muted. So I want to remind everyone of that, but that doesn't mean we don't want questions. We absolutely want questions. We want this to be a valuable webinar for you. So please type any questions that you have in the panel on GoToWebinar, and then we will answer those questions at the end. We'll have a Q&A where we'll go through and answer those. Also, I'll monitor that throughout. So if you're having some type of challenge or you lose sound or something like that, we can also use that question panel or the chat panel, and I'll keep an eye on that. So without further ado, I am going to pass things over to David so that he can kick everything off. So David, I'll let you take it away.
Amazing. Thank you, Lori, for organizing this event, and thank you everyone for joining. My name is David, and I will be the presenter for today's session, and I'm very excited to have you here today, where we will explore how we can extend and expand a Sage 100 reporting capabilities using Sage Data Analytics, which, as Lori mentioned, I will sometimes be referring as a Zap. So this is the agenda. I will just run very quickly through a quick slide deck where I want to talk about the common reporting challenges that we have, who we are, what is the solution for those reporting challenges, what is the value proposition that we offer for Sage 100, and then I will go into into the demonstration of the product, so I can show you what are the out-of-the-box reports that we have for Sage 100, and I want to also show you how we can customize, how we can tailor the solution to your needs, right? And then we will do the questions and answers. So again, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free. This is your session, and I want to be sure that we cover all the different aspects. And now, going into the presentation, I want to start with a bit of a reflection. And I want you to think, like, what are the common reporting challenges that you are facing today? And so I want you to think on that question. And throughout our years of experience in Sage 100, we have gained a fairly good understanding on where companies are at and what are the common reporting challenges that you might be facing. But most importantly, we have gained a fairly good understanding of how we can help you get quick wins to overcome those challenges. So let's take a pause. And I want to invite you to have a closer look at this picture, because I believe that this pictures quite well how many of us feel at the end of the month while we are trying to create reports where we need, those requirements to create those financial statements, those sales reports. I want to see what is my data. And, with long hours, we spend hours of work we have an army of mugs of coffee and to maintain us awake. And then we have those months of paperwork, right? And the reality is that today we live in a world of data, right? Where, you know, every number, every data point that we have, every database, every KPI that we have, that we require to build our reports, that we require to build our analysis, is many times buried and hidden in a mountain of paperwork and databases that it's not very easy to access, right? And many times once we extract the data, we often find ourselves with multiple reports. Many times we have, you know, an army of Excel files, everyone giving us a different version of the truth. And these are spread across organizations. I have seen many times we have the Excel version 1, the version 2, the final version, which is the right one, right? And I'm sure that if we ask two people within the same business to give us the same number, you know, many times we might just get different figures because we were using different criteria to prepare the report, right? Sometimes we even have multiple reporting solutions. And the problem is that, you know, all of these reports are disconnected. We are creating multiple versions of the truth, which will only lead to inaccurate reporting, right? And this caused something that I call is the data chaos, right? And unfortunately, this is not just a scenario. This is the reality that we are living, where, you know, the vital information is trapped in those mountains of paperwork, in those silos, and it's hard for us to make decisions, you know, in a quickly way. So I want us to now think about what is the process. I mean, how do you prepare reports today? If I ask you, how do you prepare an income statement today? Or how do you prepare a sales report? And I'm just talking right now about basic reportings, right? Like the starting point. How long does it take you? And the reality is that one of the challenges is starts first. It's a manual process, right? So every month we manually export, and I'm talking just about one scenario, depending on the solution that you have, your process might be slightly different. But normally the first step is to extract the data and to prepare the reports, right? So many times we manually need to export the data from Sage 100 to maybe Excel. Once we have the data in Excel, we need to manually clean the data because we have some opening balances that we need to remove. We need to manually delete records, manually introduce certain records such as budgets or forecasting. Then we need to prepare the data. We need to group it. We need to use certain functions like look V, look H to give certain format to the data so we can present the reports. And then we need to share these reports within our team to make decisions, right? So this is a time-consuming process. Like, how long does it take you to have these reports? And I'm right now just talking about one report. Maybe you have 50, 60, 100 reports that you require. So how long does it take you this process? Hours, days, weeks? So can you think about how many hours per year you waste preparing reports? So this is an extremely time-consuming process, right? Where there is few strategy in this process, and you know, most of the time is instead of discovering insights, we waste the time preparing the same reports again and again and again every month. So unfortunately, and this repetitive process is obviously prone to errors. So throughout my data analytics career, unfortunately, I have seen many companies, many organizations making wrong decisions because their data was not accurate, right? And I have seen closed financial statements wrong. I mean, closed financial statements. And it was just a very simple mistake, a silly mistake, where they forgot to multiply one figure by -1, right? You know, in the financials, we have the debit and credit amounts, and then they forgot to treat the report as it should be. And then imagine the consequences of having a closed financial statement with that small mistake, right? Where you make already the dividends, and well, there was a massive issue with that. So let's say that, okay, we finished the report. Now we have our financial statement, we have our sales report. And once we're analyzing the data, we realize that the report is not telling us the whole story. And the reality is that the current IT landscape is much more complex than only the data that we have in one table. Right? We have budgets and targets that are in Excel. We might have other systems like us that have a CRM or an XRM or a WMS or any other SQL systems. We might have historical data that we want to combine to get a strategic view of the business, right? So we need to have a complete visibility of all our systems to have a more strategic view. And so we have here a manual process, time consuming, prone to errors, limited visibility. And these are not just inconvenience, these are barriers to the growth of your business, right? And I'm sure that you have likely felt at least one of these challenges. So what is the goal here? What are we trying to offer? Where are we trying to help? Well, it's automation. It's integration so you can have timely insights, so we can automate all this process. It's not just about data, but having actionable intelligence that is accessible to all, right? And what I'm trying to go here, I want to go from a data chaos that we have in this slide to a data harmony, right? Where we have everything much organized and ready for us to consume. And here is where the story, the hero of our story comes into place. Here is where I'm going to talk about Sage Data Analytics, where I'm going to talk about ZAP. And ZAP is more than a reporting solution. It's a transformation engine, which is designed for Sage, right? And what we do is that we transform the Sage data into high quality insights and intelligence. So I want to highlight this because we are not generalists. We specialize in Sage 100. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we are designed to seamlessly integrate with Sage 100. We are a plug and play platform. This means that within a matter of days, we will be able to connect to your Sage 100 data, and from there, deploy hundreds of reports from different modules, right? Financials, sales, inventory, financial statements, right? So you don't start from scratch. Now, this means time to value, right? The pre-built approach means that we understand the challenges and the opportunities within your data. We know where the data is. We know how the data needs to be transformed to create meaningful KPIs. We understand the relationships within your databases. Now, this pre-built approach is the starting point, right, of your journey. It's like a handicap, so you don't start from scratch. So, the whole aim of this is to reduce waste, to optimize the times, and you can get, time to value. But something that I want to highlight a lot during the presentation is that this is customizable. The whole value of the platform is to provide you a handicap, but that it's customizable so we can tailor and adapt the solution based to your requirements, to your needs, right? And I'm going to talk about automation and one source of truth in the next slide. But as I mentioned, we are a transformation engine. So let me just show my last point here. So the first part of the journey, what we're going to automate the data extraction. So we can extract data from multiple Sage 100 companies. Let's say that you want to consolidate all your Sage 100 companies into one report. That's something that we automatically do. You can bring, different systems, Excel files for forecast, historical data, all the systems that you might have into one single source of truth, right? So the first part is extracting the data, the raw data that we require for our analysis. Then the next section is, all right, I'm extracting the data, but I need to shape the data in the right format, right, that I require for my analysis. So here's where I'm building one single source of truth. Here's why I'm combining all the data from my different systems or different modules. So from the technical point of view, for all of those that are joining us today from the IT team, from the IT background, what we are building here, we are building a data warehouse, a queue, a semantic layer, which is, bringing all this data together. But from the business perspective, here's where we are building the KPIs. Here's where we can do currency conversion, or we can do financial consolidation. Right? If you want to combine or consolidate all your companies and want to do some eliminations, here is where we are going to automate this process, right? So we're automating the extraction of the data, the transformation of the data, and then, well, we need to consume the data, right? And here is where we are going to visualize the data. Now, there are various ways of consuming the data. Today, I will show you our main way of consuming the data, which is our platform, Sage Data Analytics, ZAP. But just be aware that you can use other platforms like Power BI to consume the data. What is important here is that we are automating all this process and building one single version of the truth, right? So today I'm going to concentrate on the visualization layer. That's where I'm going to be delivering the demo. And I will be dividing the demo into sections. First, I want to show you what comes out of the box. I will show you just one quick report. And then I want to show you one customized scenario so you can have a bit overview of what we have, right? So I'm going to change screens. And Laurie, can you just please confirm that you now see ZAP and not the presentation?
I do.
Perfect, amazing, super. So now I want to get you excited with some snaps of our out-of-the-box reports, right? Which I'm sure it will accelerate in your VI journey. And I'm going to press F11 so you can have a closer look at the screen. And we have out-of-the-box reports for finance, inventory, procurement, and sales, which comes already out of the box. Right now, I will just concentrate my attention on the CFO dashboard, which I think is one of my favorite reports. In the financial side, we have accounts payables, accounts receivables, general ledger, where we have all the financial statements, balance sheet statement, profit and loss, cash flow statement. And finally, we have the CFO dashboard, which is one dashboard that is bringing me all the most important financial KPIs in one single screen. And this is one of my favorite dashboards because I think it's very strategic. In one screen, I can see the whole business, the three financial statements on the left-hand side, where I'm actually hovering my mouse. We have KPIs related to an income statement, right? Where we have the net sales, the gross margin, the operating profit. On the center of the screen, I have KPIs related to a cash flow statement, where we have the receivables, the payables, and when we compare those two, we can get the cash to cash cycle. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we have KPIs which are related to a balance sheet statement, where we have assets, liabilities, and when we compare those metrics, we get all the KPIs, such as liquidity ratios or leverage ratios, right? So I think this provides a very strategic level. As I mentioned, this is the kind of report that you will have within a matter of days, right? Because the solution already understands where we need to extract the data. And again, as I mentioned before, we can customize and tailor this based on our requirements. So I want to highlight just quick features and functionalities that we have in this report. And I want to show you how we can slice and dice the data, how we can drill down. There are more functionalities. I don't want to go too deep into the report because the session is just 30 minutes long. But with these slicers, we can just select which companies I want to analyze. So you can analyze just company one, or if you select all the companies, we are automatically consolidating the information of all the companies into one, right? We out of the box, we can do currency conversion. You can slice and dice this based on different ledgers. You can expand the report when you're analyzing the data. Boom, I have now this quick view, which is my net sales and cost of sales a long time. And something very important is that we can track metrics. So for example, we can create subscriptions to KPIs. Let's say that here, for example, in my gross margin, I want to track. I don't want my gross margin to be below 25%. So I can set up a business alert that automatically sends me a notification every time my gross margin is below 25%. So I can be proactive in my analysis, right, rather than reactive. We can anticipate, and that business alert can attach this report and maybe a cost report, so I can understand what are the reasons behind my metric being below the limits that I established as healthy. Now, I can drill down into the data. If I want to analyze, I want to go further, I want to analyze my sales. I can analyze my sales from different perspectives. So I can mix data from different modules, right? So if I want to analyze my net sales, I can analyze my net sales from the sales perspective, which are my sales invoices, or which is the operational analysis. Or I can analyze using the financial analysis, which is my income statement, which is the one that I'm going to go today, just to show you. And I want to contrast that experience that many times we have in Excel analyzing the data versus here, where we are going from one main dashboard and we're drilling down the data. We're asking questions to understand the story behind our data, right? Now, if I want to understand, I have here an income statement. We can have many formats. This is just one of many. We can have by financial dimensions, or we can have this by months. But if I want to go into the lowest level of detail, I want to analyze my operating expenses, I can just double click here and I can get into the lowest level of detail, which is going to be all the transactions that happened for that specific period of time, right? So in the next 5 minutes, I just want to talk about one other report, and I just want to concentrate my attention on the power of customizations, right? The first report that I showed you is vanilla, is how it comes out of the box. And now I want to ask you that, you know, the value is not only there, the value is how we can tailor this to our requirements. And this is a report that I'm showing you, is a daily sales report. And one of our customers was telling us, hey, I want to have a daily sales report where I can see, you know, a daily snapshot of my daily sales activities in the course of a day. So I can analyze my daily sales intake, my week-to-date sales, and my month-to-date sales. And I was thinking, okay, that doesn't come out of the box. But wait a minute. Most of the ingredients that we require to build, actually not most of the 100% of the ingredients that we require to build a report already comes in our out-of-the-box solution, like the unit sold, sales, the cost of sales, the margin, month analysis, year-to-date analysis, items, how you want to break this down by products, customers, all of those ingredients, they are already there. So it's about how I just present the data, right? So with this dashboard, we can analyze information, and it took me just a matter of hours to create this report. It was, I spent most of the time in the cosmetics, but I think it's a quite powerful report. So you can see every day, you know, what is my margin, how are my sales performing this week against the previous week, and also against the target. And you know, we can have also those drilling down capabilities where you can analyze by week, where you can select a specific day, and you can even go to the lowest level of detail, right? So this is just a very quick overview. I think here my session expired. Let me just refresh the screen because I had it open for a long period of time. But you know, you can expand and you can even drill down into specific numbers to go into the lowest level of detail. Here I'm drilling down into customer's perspective. I can then analyze this now from the item perspective. And then if I double click, I can get into the lowest level of detail, which is, you know, the transaction, where I can see the account receivable invoice, right? So it was a very quick presentation, a very quick demo. Now, I would just want to do a bit of a wrap up, a bit of a conclusion, because I mean, SAP is a comprehensive data management solution and BI solution that is designed for Sage 100, right? It's a pre-built solution, and that means that we have hundreds of reports pre-built. As I showed you, it's designed to be customized to tailor your specific requirements. And we're going to support you through all, you know, your BI journey, from extracting the data, transforming the data, populating the reports, and even distributing the reports to the right audience, to the right people based on business alert, right? The whole goal is to automate all that reporting processes, so you invest time analyzing the data rather than creating reports again and again. So once you create the report, you don't need to create the report again, right? As you can see, it's very user-friendly. The whole idea is to have one single source of truth. And at the end, this means that you will have a greater adoption, less risk in implementation, and an accelerated time to value and a greater return of investment on this type of projects. So as I mentioned, this is just a very high level overview. We have much more functionalities, much more reports that I would love to show you. So if you want to see more reports, you want to see the full potential of the solution, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to book a full demo tailored to your own requirements, right? So Lori, I will hand over to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate you going through all that. It was lots of information. So just a reminder for everyone, we've had a couple questions come in, but before I ask those, if you have any questions, please type those in the panel and we will get those answered for you. So I'm going to take the simplest question, or I think it's the simplest question first. Somebody asked if you can change the colors of the graphs.
Yes, you can change the colors of the graphs. For example, the one that I have that I showed you in out of the box, that's the one that comes out of the box. The other ones I just customized to that customer requirements and that customer branding. But yes, you can.
Okay, perfect. And how many out of the I think they're asking how many reports are there, but like bundled in the system, like out of the box.
Yes, what we can do, I can share with you, Lori, the document that contains some snapshots of those out of those reports, so you can share those reports with them.
Okay, perfect. And then there have been a couple questions around implementation, so I'll address those. Microaccounting actually does do the implementation, so we partner closely with Zap. So we have a great, strong, trusting partnership with them, so we work closely together. But we do have our own consulting team that actually does the implementations, and so we would do those no different than we implement other products with you or do upgrades. We have a project plan, and we'll customize it to your needs. Timing wise, some people have asked, timing for implementation is going to vary depending on what you're using it for. So for example, you could use it only for financials. You could say, I need my sales data. You could say, I want AP data. I mean, there's inventory, obviously. So depending on the scope of your project is going to depend on the timing of it. I would say on the low end, if you're basic, you're probably a couple weeks of time, but if you are interested in the solution, what we can do is follow up with you individually. I can have one of the account managers reach out, or I can reach out, and then we can schedule a one-on-one conversation to learn a little bit more about how you're thinking you might use it, and we can also try to educate on, how you might, some other things that maybe you're not thinking about that we're seeing that other clients are finding that they're using it a lot for. So lots of options there. And then another question came in about tutorials and training videos. I know on the microaccounting site, like we do some webinars on it, but we don't have recorded training per se. We usually do it one-on-one. I don't know, Zap team, do you guys have any type of tutorial or training recording videos?
Yes, so there are a couple of things here. We have our Academy portal where we have, the self-paced training, but we also have, which that's something that actually it's very good. It's step by step. But we are also creating, this is new, we are embedding inside the solution videos. For example, here you have the welcome to SAP Data Hub, and all of this is in context of what you are doing. So if you are creating a report, you will see videos on how to create, a report or a dashboard. So I think this is great. This is a great way to start, and I think this is a great way to use the solution, to learn how to use the solution.
Okay, so this can kind of get them started. Is there any way for somebody to access this to get an idea of it before they actually have the system?
To the training, to the videos.
Well, but were you access? Maybe I missed it. Were you accessing that from within, like within Zap? Like if they don't own Zap yet, those were just open videos.
I will need to check that one.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you know that, Rohit.
I can answer that. Hi all. So videos, yes, all the training and everything. We have this thing called self-paced learning that can be accessed through the website. But the videos that David is mentioning, that are specific within the product. So you need to own the product to see those videos. But there is a self-learning place where you can join from our website and see all of these if you want it. You don't need to be a customer.
Thank you for everyone to join us today, and hopefully you have now a new thinking on how we can extend and expand the reporting functionalities of Sage. And yeah, very happy to see you here and looking forward to speak to you soon.